In today's video, we're working on this 2021 and doing a full ultimate rear sound deadening upgrade. Afternoon guys, hope you're all keeping well. So we've done a couple of videos on the T6 and the T6.1 and doing the ultimate front sound deadening upgrade over here. This customer wants to do a little bit differently because we're doing it as part of a conversion as well, but he's going all out on the sound deadening. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it a little bit like we've done before. Richard is currently stripping out the vehicle, so all the panels are out, the seats are out, the floor is going to be coming out, the roof is out, so that we're down to bare metal. Now luckily, because this is a new van, there isn't too much prep work. As you can see, all the metal work is pretty nice and clean, so there won't be too much required. So just going to run through what we're going to be doing with this vehicle in terms of the products we're using and how much and where and all this sort of stuff. I will jump forward on the next part of the video and show you the product that we're fitting in the different places like I've done previously before. We'll then stop by halfway through to show you it being laid and what we've got to, and then the final result before the carpeting and the paneling happens. Okay, so first up, the roof is going to be done in silent coat 2mm all the way across, as much as you can see up there. We're then going to follow that with some DodoMat Thermoliner 10mm from memory, and that's going to sit on top of it to give it a nice barrier. We're then going to do for the rear sides, the two sliding doors and the tailgate, we're going to do exactly the same as the roof, which is the 2mm silent coat followed by the Thermoliner 10mm. The floor, when the matting is up, is going to have silent coat 4mm, a bit thicker to give it that better well, to prevent all that resonance and noise coming through. And we're also going to lay that on the wheel arches themselves, which will be quite cool. And then once all that's done, we're then going to be doing the ply lining and the carpeting and stuff like that, but that's not what this video is really about at the moment. So yeah, next we'll go through the products that we're fitting, just so you can get an idea of what we are fitting. So if you're doing this yourself, you've got an idea, and we'll go from there. Right then guys, so Richard has finished working down over in this quarter. The floor is stripped out and the vehicle is ready to go. It's all prepped, ready, good to go with starting the sound deadening. Richard is just making a start on the sound deadening for the front doors, just so that bit is covered off, so that when the customer comes back for the front end sound deadening, that part is done. So as always, I try and explain to people the products that we're using, so that if you're doing this yourself, you have a bit of an idea of how we would do it. Obviously, people and conversion companies and people that do sound deadening all use different products and different versions of it, but this is what we have learned from our testing and doing all of this on how it all looks and feels. So some of the products that we're going to be using, so we'll start off down here with the actual sound deadening. This is the silent coat 2mm, which is pretty much our go-to sort of product for when we're doing any sort of sound deadening. We have then got this box here, same sort of product, but it's double the thickness. It's a 4mm, and this is going to be going specifically on the floors and the wheel arches, internal and external. So we'll be getting the wheels off and jacking it up and doing it that way. Whereas silent coat, the 2mm, because it's a bit more easier to lay, will go everywhere else, and you don't want to be using too much of this stuff because obviously it's double the thickness, double the weight, etc, etc. We then move to the Dodo Thermoliners. This one is a 7mm, and this is going to be going on top of this one is going to be going on the roof, the ceiling of the van. So up here, once we've got all the 2mm all laid nicely across there, we're then going to be fitting the this one, because it is 7mm, slightly thinner, so we have a bit more space to work with to get that in, whereas the 10mm, it can go there, but it can cause a few issues with getting the roof and all that sort of back on. And plus, you don't really need it there because not much sound comes from the roof down into the cab. It's more this sort of area. So this is the 7mm. This is the Thermoliner Pro, pretty similar product. By the way, looks slightly different, but again it performs the same role, so it's good for the thermo aspect and also the sound isolating aspect, but thicker. So this is going on the doors, the sides, the tailgate, and that's that. And just one last bit, so obviously we're doing the 2mm sound coat at the moment on the front doors, and then we're going to cap it off with the Sound Absorber 15 from Silent Coat, and this is going to go on the inside of the door cards, and it's that sort of eggshell environment, as I've mentioned on other videos, that helps redirect sound waves, stops it coming through the plastics and all of that sort of stuff. So what we'll do is, once the van is pretty much sound deadening in terms of the Silent Coat on the floor, the sides, the doors and the roof, I'll do another quick, this is how we're at and this is where we're looking at, just to show you the level of coverage. We'll then get the thermo liner in. Again, we'll show you all of that and how it all looks, and then we'll wrap things up, just showing you the van all back together. It is having the interior conversion sort of, with new ply lining and carpeting and all that sort of stuff, just to give you the final sort of feel and look. And yeah, stay tuned. Okay, so Rich has just finished, I'll just do a quick update. He's done all of the floor in the 4mm and the wheel arches, but I'll come back once everything else is done up here. But just before the wheel arch goes back on, I wanted to just give you an idea of what we're doing behind the scenes, because you'll never see this bit, but I wanted to show you that it's there. So I've got a light, so hopefully it's all right with seeing what's going on. So where you can see Richard has done the sound deadening, this is behind the wheel arch, in the most obvious areas where sound will come through into the cab of the vehicle. So again, we've used the Silent Coat 4mm again, just to give it that extra sound deadening. So overall you've got 4mm, then metalwork, and then another layer of 4mm on the inside of the cab, to really help prevent any extra road noise coming in through these wheels, which is where the most sound is coming through from. So yeah, just wanted to do a quick update, show you with that, and we'll go from there. Right, so we're at day 2 on the sound deadening, so a bit further along than the last section in the video. So I think last time I was filming Richard's, or I was talking about the external wheel arches. So the wheel arches are back on, and Richard has been concentrating on all of this. So since last time, he's done the internal arches, he's done the sides, he's done the interior of the doors, and I'll zoom over in there in a second, this side and the full roof, and then James has kindly come down to help and has done the rear tailgate. So all of this is the 2mm stuff, apart from the floor where we've done 4mm Silent Coat. I'll just jump in and just show you the level that we've done. Obviously there's only certain places where you can do sound deadening, but if you're having any form of conversion, interior lining, sound deadening, this is the level that you need to be insulating or running sound deadening at. So this is our base level. This customer is going for he's having the stage 2 on this one, so we're now going to drop in the DodoMat thermo liner stuff, which is like it's much easier to lay, so it won't take as long to do it, and we're doing that on the roof, sides, door and the tailgate, which will then create that vapor barrier for the vehicle, help retain even more heat in, as well as helping with that with the sound deadening aspect as well. Because obviously remember, the customer's main goal with this wasn't for like sleeping in it or anything like that, it was just to try and bring this vehicle into a bit more of a premium type vehicle. This stuff is really labor intensive, it's very laborious. The material itself isn't that much in terms of the cost value, it's just the time. And as I said, if you're having a job done properly, this is day 2, and it might not look that much, but it just takes an awful lot of time to run. So next the boys are going to do the thermo liner, and before the carpeted panels and the carpeting begins, I'll jump back and show you what that then looks like at that stage. And for this customer, that aspect is done, and then we can get on with the conversion aspect, and I'll show you a little end of video with that one as well, so you can get an idea of that as well. Stay tuned. Good morning guys, we're now on to day 3, I think, and the sound deadening aspect is done. So the difference between the last section of the video was that we just finished the silent coat 2mm, and now we've finished on the sides and the ceiling or roof the Dodo Van Liner Pro. I think it's the Pro, it's always the normal one, I can't remember. And so what this is a 6mm piece of material that's designed overall to help with the sound insulation and also helps keep the van warmer and cooler. And as you can see, it's got this nice sort of foil lined finish to it as well, so it keeps it all matching quite nicely. And it's just a really decent bit of insulation for your van. So if you're doing this for sound, or if you're doing it for the comfort aspect, it's going to help keep the van warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, and all of that sort of stuff. And because of its makeup, it doesn't absorb water, so it can't absorb moisture, sorry. So you can't, you're not getting soggy bits of wool or rock wool or all that sort of stuff. So this bit doesn't take as long as the normal silent coat 2mm and 4mm, just because it's much easier to work with. It just goes straight on and it doesn't have to be rolled on. If you're wondering what all the blue marks are that are different from last time, is because the next stage of this, which isn't really part of this video but I'll show it off anyway, is our is the sort of the interior conversion aspect. So we're turning it into a bit more of a combi, carpeting and all of that. And this is so when all the metal work is carpeted, when we come to put the boards on, we know where these holes are because they'll be covered at some point. And on this particular setup, we're going to be using hidden clips because we're using 3.6mm ply. If you go any thicker, you can't really use those clips. You have to use the actual proper big push-in jobbies. So yeah, decent couple of days worth of work. As you can see, it's quite a transformation, and it's definitely going to improve the sound aspect for this vehicle when it's driving along. And in a couple of weeks time or a couple of months, the customer's coming back and we're going to be doing the front aspect of this, which we've already done a video for that I'll link to. So now you've got 2 videos on how to ultimately sound deaden the front of the T6.1 and now ultimately sound deaden the rear of it. So what we'll do is we'll finish the job. I'll give you a quick rundown of the products used in the next part of the video, and just show you where it's all carpeted and how it looks all nice and neatly put back together, so then it sort of rounds the job off quite nicely. So stay tuned. Okie doke, right, we're all done. So as promised, I would just round off the video very quickly just to say we're done, and the final look of the interior conversion that the customers wanted whilst we were doing all the sound deadening. So remember, the main goal here was all the sound deadening that I'd spoken about previously throughout this video, but we rounded it off and changed it from sort of just the crappy panelly van that it was before, and then did all our sound deadening, new ply, carpet trim, and it just turns it into a much nicer environment to be in, more like a vehicle and all this sort of stuff. So we have supplied our own 3.6mm ply, and it's got the right holes in it so that we could then fit our hidden clip fixings. So on this you can't see any fixings, it just means it gives it a really nice finish, much easier, or sorry, it's a much nicer look. It does make it a bit more difficult taking it off because obviously you don't know where the clips are, but they just pop off just like it would do any other thing. So we've used a 4-way stretch anthracite carpet. We cover as much of the metal work as you possibly can see. So we've done all of the front on the B pillar, the B pillar, the doors, the framework around the door, and then these rear quarters, even to the point of a new ply going up there, and that all being trimmed. But yeah, like I said, not part of this video, but just wanted to show it all off and how it looks and feels once it's all done. So yeah, this is the T6 all signed off, all happy with it. Customer will be over the moon with it, as I'm sure anybody else would be with the amount of money that he spent on it. And yeah, as always, if you've got a van like this T6, T6.1, and you want to do sound deadening but properly, and as like we've done it in the video, we can split it down into just doing the rear like we've done on this, or the front as you've probably seen on the other videos, which I'll link into this one. Make sure you get in touch. As always, Make sure you sub to the channel, really helps us out. We do enjoy making these videos and giving you something to watch as part of an ongoing sort of thing. Like the video, always helps out with the YouTube algorithm to make sure people are liking it. And as always, thanks for watching.